podcast. We're here for another football episode. Today we're going to bring a little bit of NFL, just recap what happened Thursday, talk about what we want to see tomorrow, and some of our picks for tomorrow. And then we're also going to talk about a big day in college football today, including two games that happened last night. So first, we're just going to talk about the Falcons and the Buccaneers game. I don't know. I know all of us watched it. I wasn't expecting it to be that good of a game though, guys. That's probably the best Thursday night football game we've had this year, and it was just exciting. We had good offenses. Kirk Cousins broke a Falcons record for yards thrown, and he threw 4 touchdowns also in the game. Just a crazy game, good game to start the week. What do y'all think about it?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really much better you can say about it. Kirk Cousins did what he needed to do to get the Falcons the win. I mean, Baker did his thing for Tampa Bay. They had 30 points. I mean, 30 points I think, is enough to win a football game, in my opinion. And so
Yeah,
I think both teams just really played out, and it just came down to that final play.
yeah, and uh, you really got a feel for Bucky Irving because that fumble late, that probably was the difference maker in that game. Because if they keep holding on to the ball, they're probably able to run that clock out, and then it doesn't even get to a point of going to overtime. So, Tyler, what's your thoughts on the game?
It was fun to watch. It was it was impressive, especially watching Kirk Cousins throw the ball like he did, especially in the last what that last drive took him. I think they had like 12 seconds on the clock, and they ran like 2 plays and got in a field goal range to tie it. So that was pretty impressive. Uh, I think Kirk Cousins is. I think that's his team now.
I actually want to talk about that last drive for a minute before we dive into the numbers and stats and all that fully. But I was kind of getting worried because I thought that we were gonna talk about the horrible play calling at first on that final drive because it seemed like early on they were just trying to take deep shots, go down the field instead of just. I mean, they were right there. They just needed to get like 5, 10 more yards to be in field goal range, and they were still taking shots towards the end. It ended up working out, but that could have been bad if they didn't complete that last pass to get them into field goal range and be able to spike it uh, at the last second. I mean, I was concerned for a second about their play calling on the last drive, but then they reeled it in and got it together. Um, but yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield, 19 for 24, 180 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. Chris Godwin had a good game. Mike Evans obviously had a good game. Um, I mean, the offense played really well. Baker Mayfield, those throws, I mean, boys, those were some really, really good throws. I You can't be mad at Baker or the offense because they played about as good as you can. It's just defense let him down a little bit, and then like I said, that late fumble, and then on the other end, I mean, Kirk Cousins, 509 yards, 4 touchdowns, and the 1 interception, and then Drake London.
Sounds like
Yeah,
me on NCAA.
yeah. I mean, those are. I don't even think I throw that many yards on NCAA. I mean, Drake London had a big game. Kyle Pitts had his biggest game since his rookie year. I mean, the offense was just clicking for the Falcons, and that's a big game for the Falcons. I mean, now you're 3-2. Buccaneers fall to 3-2.
Tied
Either
for first,
team,
and
and it's a division game. Yeah,
yeah, tied for first in that division now.
that's it's a really big game, and they delivered on Thursday Night Football. Is all I'm gonna say.
I saw this thing that they were talking about it that the 3 wins that the Falcons have this year, going into the last 2 minutes of the game, they were trailing every single time that they've won.
And that's
It's
gonna
kind of
matter.
impressive.
Come if they sneak into the playoffs and they're in tough, close games, that's gonna matter. They have experience in it. They've been there before. I don't know. I think this week we finally saw what everyone was kind of hoping for, especially fantasy owners of some of these Falcons players. You finally get a good established quarterback on this team, and you get to see what happens. And then I also want to talk about. I know he had a big drop um, on that final drive before overtime, but Darnell Mooney has been playing really good this season. A lot
Yeah,
better than what he
thanks
has.
for yeah, a lot better than when he was in Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't want to call out the Bears on you, but yeah, he's
it's okay.
it seems like he's turned it around. And then I was expecting Kyle Pitts to have a bigger year. He finally had that. He's had a few rough weeks, but he finally had a breakout game this week. And Drake London has just continued to impress, so that's no surprise there. But it's a great way to start the NFL game, the NFL week.
Yeah, it was really a really good game. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
So for me, I was the next thing we were going to talk about. I was going to ask what the boys wanted to see from their teams this week. For me, unfortunately, well, maybe it is fortunate. I don't have to get mad this weekend. Titans don't play. They have a bye week, so they just got to get ready for the Colts
Well,
in two
well,
weeks.
in the Titans' defense, bye week is coming back or coming in like kind of perfect timing, especially with
I
Jeff
would
Simmons
agree.
being hurt and Mayo Levis out here hurting his shoulder against the Dolphins. Like
Yeah.
it kind of worked out in their favor. So
Well, yeah. And I mean, I think we touched on it. It wasn't a good Dolphins team. It was well. I mean, it wasn't the best Dolphins team. They still have all the weapons. They still have their defense. Quarterback obviously is that's an issue right now for them. But nonetheless, you get a big win. That builds momentum going into the bye week. Now you have something. You have some confidence in your bye week. You're able, like you said, get those guys healthy. Maybe, kick a few players in the butt, get them up, get them ready to go because they have a lot to figure out. They're offensively on the O line. You got to make some adjustments. Will Levis, got to get him back in his right headspace, making good decisions, quick decisions. I think you said it perfectly. This bye week couldn't have come at a better time. Before the season, I was actually very mad that we had a week 5 bye week. You normally don't want a bye week this early in the year, but actually seeing how the first 4 weeks played out for us, I don't think they can complain, and I think they're actually probably pretty happy to have a bye week this week. So I just want to see, um, I want to see our guys get healthy for the Colts, and I'd like to just see him come out and try and punch the Colts in the mouth in 2 weeks.
yeah, and especially with being a home game too, that's kind of
Yeah,
with riding off of this a win against the Dolphins and going into a bye week. You kind of need to come out, especially in the front of the home crowd. That's
yeah,
hasn't been too happy with you. So it's kind of one of those games that it's like almost like a must-win situation.
yeah, and it's one of those. It's their first divisional game of the year, so those always count, and especially in a year like this where the Texans are obviously at the top, but the other three teams they're all right there. Even with the bad starts, Colts, Jaguars, and Titans, they're all in the mix with each other, and Texans are still well within reach. So the race isn't over for that division. And
No, it's not.
for the Titans,
It's early.
I almost forgot to mention during this bye week, they have a lot to figure out too at the quarterback position as a whole. The fan base is divided. Um, People saw the score that we put up with Mason Rudolph out there compared to what we were doing with Will Levis out there. The head coach, Brian Callahan, said that if Will Levis is healthy, he's still 100% the starter. I want Will Levis to still 100% be the starter because personally, it wasn't Mason Rudolph that won that game, but some fans feel strongly about Mason Rudolph should be the starter after what we did. But again, 9 for 17, only 80 yards, 85 yards. It wasn't Mason Rudolph, so. But anyways, Tyler, Bears, they have another winnable game this week. Have a chance to move to 3-2. They play the 1-3 Panthers. Obviously, this 1-3 Panthers is a little bit different than the Bryce Young led 1-3 Panthers. The offense is playing a lot better. But what do you think about that game? What do you think about your boys' chances?
I like it. Uh, I mean, it it could be very winnable. It's very winnable, but depending on what Bears offense rolls out there, it could be the Panthers coming out of it. But I'm go Bears. I just hope that Caleb Williams has one of those days that he can be and just like he did last week and lead his team. But who knows? We could be looking up at in the third quarter, fourth quarter, and we'd be trailing. So
Well, I think the good thing is, like, I mean, Caleb Williams has been progressively getting more and more comfortable, which is expected for a rookie quarterback. That's any rookie. He's making better decisions week by week. He's improving, and it's
hmm
visible. Panthers, I mean, let's just call it what it is. They don't have the best defense. I mean, we've seen some pretty big numbers get put up on the Panthers already this season. I mean, the Saints put 47 on them. The Chargers had the lowest amount of points scored against the Panthers with 26. Still, that's a pretty good scoring day in the NFL. I'm sorry, my bad. The Raiders put up 22 in the Panthers one win, but the Bengals just put 34 on them. I mean, I'm not saying that this is going to be Caleb Williams' biggest game of the year, but this is definitely an opportunity for Caleb to go out there and show us why he was the number one pick, and I'm actually excited to
it
see how he performs.
it could be a really really good day for the offense, especially with them struggling the past couple weeks and not really clicking and finding their groove. I mean, they're obviously starting to find it now, but this I feel like tomorrow is definitely going to be the day that it could either all come together or we're still going to be on that learning curve of trying to get everybody situated. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping that it's all coming together, and because I mean the Bears have a chance. They if they start playing the way that they did in the preseason, obviously it's a preseason, like backups are in everywhere, like but still Caleb Williams was out here throwing and making people miss all of preseason and doing whatever he wanted to anybody. And so if he could get back to doing that at a high rate, we could. I mean, we could be in the mix for the division for against the Vikings and Lions. Like,
yeah.
and that division's not a slouch either. Like, the Packers are playing good. The
I'd argue
Vikings
it's
are
one of the
4 and
best.
0. The Lions are a powerhouse. Like, I feel like the NFC North is definitely going to be one of those divisions that we're going to have to look like that come playoff time. It's going to be we
There's a
could
bunch of
there could be I don't know. It's gonna be a good race for
it's
sure.
it's one of the few divisions that you can make a case for all four teams to
Hmm
be a playoff team. So, um, but I mean, yeah, you expect growing pains though. I heard you mention
Yeah.
that. I mean, you expect that throughout the whole year. I mean, rookie QB, a lot of new pieces, new offensive coordinator. I mean, there's just so many things that it takes time to adjust to. It's just, yeah, like you said, you just want to really for Caleb Williams, you just want to continue throughout the year to just see those flashes of, oh yeah, this is why we traded Justin Fields to get to make sure that Caleb Williams comes in, is our guy, draft him first overall. That you just want to see some of those things. But
Yeah.
now on to a massive game this week. Jacob, it's crunch time for the Jaguars, and Colts aren't going to make it easy on them. It's a divisional game. You know how those go. Um, what are your thoughts on that game?
I feel like the Jags took a good step against the Texans, even though they got a ton of help for the Texans shooting themselves in the foot with penalties and hindering that offense. But I did like some things. I loved how Trevor Lawrence was able to get the ball to his playmakers and let them do the work.
Hmm.
And so it helped that take that load off of him and that pressure. So I think they'll go in against the Colts with a more confident mindset like, okay, we can get this one this week.
Yeah,
So I think it's just you got to take it play by play, make better play calls and better decisions. So I think they'll be just fine. I mean, obviously, once comes game time, it's a completely different story. But I think they'll be fine. I think they took the necessary steps, even though they did lose to the Texans. I feel like they took the necessary steps to make that next jump.
yeah, no, I
But to be fair, like y'all were going into that game, like the Texans were hardcore the favorite. Like it wasn't like everybody was expecting it to be like a super close game. So it was good to see you guys like take that step towards.
Well, I mean, yeah, and then a lot of that was just because the Texans. I mean, we Jags go 3-and-out, and then Texans get a muff punt. Like, okay, that's a very crucial, and then we scored 7 points off of that. Like, that's a very crucial, pivotal moment right there at the beginning of the game. I mean, but 12 penalties for 93 yards. That's a game changer right there. Like, it's 93 free yards right there. So I mean, I feel like there was just a lot of things that the Texans did to keep the Jags in the game. If they don't make those mistakes, it's probably a wider win margin for the Texans.
Yeah, and again, I mean, there was a few um, deep throws that
Yeah,
they didn't connect on. That in the NFL, you got to make those. I mean, they were open, they were wide open,
yeah,
just
it's
a
almost
little
you gotta expect
overthrown.
it.
So, but you gotta think that he'll dial that in. He'll start to hit on some of those as the year progresses. Because again, there are some new weapons, so maybe they're just working on the timing a little bit. It's a talented team. I mean, Jacob, you got to hang your hat on it. They're the best 0-4 team in the league. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they're the only 0-4 team, but they are the best 0-4 team in the league. You gotta feel confident in that, knowing there's no other 0-4 teams that are worse. So we'll
Hot
just
take.
see.
Hot take. They might be 0-5.
But yeah, and we're gonna get to that here in a second, actually, because I think it's time for us to make some picks. Just as a reminder for us and everyone that might be keeping track with us, Tyler's in last right now, and me and Jacob are tied in our season
Hey,
picks.
you gotta. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're gonna combine. I don't think I mentioned it last time. We're gonna combine NFL and college. We're gonna combine all those picks into the same scoring bracket. Um,
Oh, we're not gonna do two different ones.
I don't know. Well, we can pick that right now. Do you want to do two separate ones, or do you want to do the same
I
one?
say we do two separate ones because I think it'll be.
You want to lose twice, Jacob? What do you?
it
I
doesn't
just
matter to me.
want to have a
Doesn't matter
better.
to you?
I want to have a reset
I'm gonna
button.
have I'm gonna have more games right than him anyway, so it's okay.
Okay, buddy. Talk to
All
me
right.
when your team gets a freaking win this weekend.
All
I'll
right,
make a
Bears.
separate one for the or for the college
Hey,
games just for you. But in the
easy,
NFL
buddy.
standings, Tyler, you're in last.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. You know,
So
everybody knows about the story about the turtle and or the tortoise and the fucking
hair.
in the hair. Yeah,
Sorry, kids. We don't normally use that
yeah.
kind of language around here.
Bleep out.
Yeah, you've already
Rewind.
messed up.
Yeah, rewind it. Hey, but you know what? We gotta have fun. We gotta have fun on here.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We're gonna deduct a point from your standings for that one. Um,
My star, my rating went down. It went down from a 3 to a 2.
I've personally
Darn.
never heard that kind of language in my life, so I'm happy that
Okay.
you would go as far to use some of
Okay.
that on this thing
That's
for
why
sure.
that. Never mind.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, after that, we're gonna just jump right into the first pick of the weekend for tomorrow. The Bills and the Texans. That's a big game, boys. Houston's favored by 1. It's at Houston. Two teams that you can honestly say they're both can be talked about as Super Bowl favorites in a lot of people's minds.
Little
I'm excited to watch
reunited
it.
action.
Yeah, so yeah, I didn't even think about that actually. Yeah, so Stephon Diggs, first time playing against the Bills. I'd like to think both the Bills and Stephon Diggs are going to want to play with a little bit of the chip on his shoulder. Um, what do y'all think? Who do you got coming out on top of this one?
I'll let JP go first.
I know I picked the Bills to be my Super Bowl champ, but I don't know, man. I feel like Tunson's gonna get under control, and I feel like Stroud's gonna get that team ready to rock and roll against the Bills. I think I'm gonna go to the Texans with this one.
All right, Tyler, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm torn. I keep going back and forth, but
Do you want me to pick mine while
yeah,
you
go
think
ahead.
about
Go
it?
ahead and pick while I'm thinking. Oh, go ahead and pick. I'm
Okay.
thinking still.
You're just struggling today.
Yeah,
Yours is
it's
more
been
than
it's been a long
self-sufficient.
morning.
Gosh. Okay. Well, Jacob, I'm gonna have to agree with you on this one. We talked about it. They've been steamrolling some teams up until last week. Before the season started, I thought that there was gonna be some gaping holes. they had to get rid of a lot of players, bring in some players. I think it's just going to catch up to them, and the Texans have too many offensive weapons. So I'm going to go with the Texans on this one.
I'm still like, here's my thing is like I want to like I'm thinking the Texans are going to win it, but after the Bills got steamrolled last week on prime time, like I just feel like you can't bet against them because they're gonna come in and have that chip on their shoulder of we're not gonna lose again. Like, but I think the Bills or I think it's gonna be the Texans.
You think it's going to be the Bills over the Texans? Is that what you said?
No, I think the Texans are gonna win.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to fix a technical difficulty. We've had a few of those already in our young podcasting careers, but we're going to get those straightened out. Okay, well, all of us going with the Texans then. I think could be the same for this game. Actually, no. You know what? We're going to hold off on that game. We're just going to go straight into the Colts and Jaguars. Jacob, what do you think your boys pull it out, get their first win of the season, or do you think it's just the same story?
You know, I'm gonna say like I did on the podcast on Tuesday. It's been 9 years since the Colts have won in Jacksonville. Make it 10. Give me the Jaguars in Jacksonville.
Okay. All right, we're starting off with the Jags win. Tyler, what do you think?
Give me the Colts.
All right, that's
Colts are gonna go into Jacksonville and show them why Jacksonville is gonna be 0-5.
yeah. I think it mainly depends on can AR-15 stay healthy over
Hey,
or AR-5. I'm sorry.
don't doubt it because you got Joe Flacco over there. Wacko Flacco is gonna go crazy again if he gets the ball.
Yeah, well, I, you just with Anthony Richardson out there, it's just a whole nother dynamic that adds to your offense. I think they played better in the first half last week against the Steelers than when Joe Flacco was out there. Scoreboard speaks for itself on how that went. But Tyler, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I'm gonna go with the Colts in this game. I'm sorry, Jacob. Uh, I'd like to see the Jaguars get their first win. Until we see it, I'm just gonna go with the Colts. All right, next game, Bengals Ravens.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens here. I mean, the Bengals secondary and their defense is just going to continue to struggle. So I'm just going to go with Baltimore here. I think they're going to get Derrick Henry rolling again.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I'm going with the Ravens in this one. I think we finally saw what the Ravens were supposed to look like last week. I think they're gonna continue carry that momentum.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens as well. They're you can definitely tell that they found their groove.
All right. We only got two more to pick. This one, international game, Jets and Vikings. Who y'all like in this one?
Give me the Vikings.
All right.
I
Tyler?
think it's pretty straightforward. Give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I mean, that's not saying that Aaron Rodgers couldn't pull something, but
Yeah.
because it is Aaron Rodgers. You can't like necessarily bet against him, but
I'm actually gonna go against Shaw on this one. I think I'm gonna take the Jets. I think.
no, you think that the Vikings finally get their first loss of the year?
I do. Aaron Rodgers. He's had one like really good Aaron Rodgers week. The rest haven't been what we were hoping for. I don't know. It's a big game. Aaron Rodgers is that one of those quarterbacks that rise to those kinds of occasions. Sam Darnold, he's been playing amazing. Um, so, with that being said, I don't know. I have a feeling Jets are going to come out on top. The Jets have a really good defense. We're going to see what they throw Sam Darnold's way. Give me the Jets. All right, last game. Sunday Night Football is the last game we're going to pick between. We got the Steelers and the Cowboys. Steelers are favored by 2.5.
I'll start it off. I'm going to go with the Steelers. You got Micah Parsons doubtful. Lawrence is out. I just think that I think it's going to be the Steelers, and then Brandon Cooks is out too, so that takes away some, or that the Steelers defense is just going to be able to double team CD more, and I feel like when you take Brandon Cooks out of that, it's just kind of like that's another weapon that opens it up a little bit. So give me the Steelers.
Give me the regular season MVP, Dak Prescott. Give me the Cowboys.
Jacob, again on this pick, I'm gonna follow you. I think we're just gonna bury
Easy.
Tyler into the standings where he can't come back.
I mean, that's crazy.
I don't think
My bad. Hit the wrong button.
I don't think Justin Fields is. I
Hey.
don't know. I'm still not sold on it. He is playing better than.
Don't talk about my fantasy QB1 right now. I'm rocking with him this week.
I don't know.
Okay.
I still think the Cowboys are gonna get it done. We'll just have to see. We'll wait and find out. But that's gonna wrap up our NFL talk. We're just gonna have to wait and see how all this plays out. Tyler, hope the best for you. You gotta come back. You can't dig yourself a hole this week. But now, let's move on
At the end of
into.
when we get back on here on Tuesday, you'll see. You'll see.
We'll see. Now let's change gears. Let's get into college football. Game's actually start in about 13 minutes, so let's get it rolling. There was two big games last night. One, I just want to briefly touch on. We finally got to see a little bit of Oregon flash some of that dominance. I know Michigan State isn't one of the better teams in college football or the Big Ten, but this is kind of what you wanted to see from an Oregon. Just assert your dominance a little bit, take over, 31-10 win. It's a good win for the Oregon Ducks.
I agree. It was. I didn't watch it because.
Yeah, well,
but
it's okay. But
I didn't even. To be honest, I didn't even know that they played until this morning. So
one of the
that's on me. That's just bad. That's just bad on my part. Hand up accountability. We'll never talk about it again.
We're not gonna attack you for that. You've already given us some other things to attack you on today. We don't need to throw that on top too. But another big game. We talked about UNLV last week as a team that's could be a Group of Five team. They were in a big game against Syracuse. Heartbreaking loss into overtime. I don't know if y'all haven't seen the final play of the game, y'all need to look it up and watch it. Insane run by the Syracuse running back. I mean, he got stuffed at the 2-yard line, but just kept pushing, kept fighting, and eventually bulldozed the defensive player for UNLV to get in the end zone and win the game. Heartbreaking if you're a UNLV fan, but it's okay. I think you can hang your hats on that. They've been playing good this year, and they played good again last night. So
Even if that's their one loss, though, they still have a chance too. So it's not.
Yeah.
They're not out of it.
Yeah. No, for sure. We're just gonna touch on just a couple games and then go straight into our picks. But the games that we're gonna touch on aren't in our selections. So I just want to briefly talk about. It's a game that y'all probably aren't expecting me to talk about, but Alabama comes into Vanderbilt later today. Vanderbilt. I'm not. I don't think they're gonna win this game. Don't get that confused. I don't think Vanderbilt's gonna win this game. What I do think though is Vanderbilt is gonna be a team, especially down the stretch later in the year. They're gonna make some teams work for it. I think Pavia is best quarterback they've had there in quite a few years. The ability to run makes their offense a little more dynamic, and 23-point favorites. I mean, Alabama, very good. I'm not saying Vanderbilt's going to cover either. I just think Vanderbilt's going to surprise a lot of teams. They're going to roll in there thinking, oh, it's Vanderbilt. This isn't the same Vanderbilt team that we've had the past few years.
Mm-mm.
This Vanderbilt team could easily be 4-0 right now. Should be 4-0. They're not. Kicker missed a game-winning kick against Missouri. Missed a game-tying kick in overtime against Missouri. Don't want to point the blame on one guy, but they should be. They should have won that game. Georgia State, they were winning late. And if you're an SEC team, you can't lose those games. But they did. They're 2-2. Like I said, should be 4-0. And if you're 4-0 with a win against Missouri, Vanderbilt's probably ranked right now. Um, and
Well, they were in the for a little bit. They were in a conversation of
they were
being ranked.
receiving votes. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, they would be. They'd be ranked if they won how they should have won. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. The other game, actually, that I was going to talk about, um, Central Florida and Florida play. I am really rooting for Central Florida over Florida for obvious reasons. We're all Tennessee fans. I kind
yeah.
of think
If you can't tell,
Billy Napier is his seat's hot, and Central Florida is not going to make it easy on him. They're in the swamp, but the Golden Knights, I like the Golden Knights odds to go in there and get a win tonight.
would be nice. Would be nice to see Florida just continue to lose.
Yeah, so
I feel like if they lose that game, Napier might have an early exit for the season.
well, yeah, and I mean, you got to think. I mean, Florida, they came into the year with one of the toughest schedules in the country, and if they lose tonight, well, next week they got Tennessee, and Tennessee's already opened up as 20
A
something
20-point
point
favorite.
favorites. Yeah, so and that's obviously in Neyland. At that point, they fall to 2-4. If it's a blowout like it's supposed to be, then if Billy Napier isn't fired this week, losing to UCF, I think we'll really start to dial up the talks if they get blown out next week in Neyland. But all right, well, now we're just gonna jump into the picks for college today. So our first game that we're gonna pick on is Missouri goes into Texas A&M. I am going to kick us off with this one. I think Texas A&M gets the upset over number 9 Missouri at home. Texas A&M is actually favored by 2.5. Missouri has not looked like a top 10 team this year. I'm going with the Aggies.
I think I'm going to go with the Aggies as well. I mean, I think it's going to be a really low scoring game here. I mean, both offenses have struggled. They haven't looked good. I mean, I think Missouri's probably going to try to target Lutheran. And so I'm going with Aggies here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with Texas A&M.
Oh, that was not a game. I thought I would be in the minority on that game. I didn't think we'd clean sweep.
Well, you got to think like going into Texas A&M, like Texas A&M's hard to play at. Like, and Missouri hasn't looked dominant to be, like you said, a top 10 team, and so it's just everything's pointing towards Texas A&M. If they come out and play how they need to, it should be a good game.
All right, well, straight to the next one. Boston College and Virginia. Who do y'all like?
I like Boston College.
Tyler?
What's do you know who's favored? Like what's
Virginia is favored by 2. It's at Virginia.
Give me Virginia.
All right. Jacob, again, me and you were on the same page. I wanted to wait. I was gonna pick Boston College anyways. I just wanted to let y'all pick first, but Boston College looks like a different team this year than what we've been seeing from Boston College of late. I think they're gonna find themselves in a pretty good bowl game when it's all said and done this year. They're just off to a good start. I think they're going to keep it rolling against Virginia. And next game, we got Wake Forest and North Carolina State.
I'm I'm gonna go probably with Wake Forest. NC State hasn't really looked good since they played Tennessee, and then they played Clemson the very next week and got steamrolled. I think I'm gonna probably go with Wake Forest here, even though they're not a really good football team. So I think it's just gonna be another sloppy game of who's gonna score the most at that point.
Okay.
Who are you going with, Dylan?
I'm going with NC State in this one. Um, I, yeah, I mean, NC State, the season hasn't gone how they've planned. Um, I still think they're better than Wake Forest, and it's a home game. I'm just going to go with NC State.
Yeah. I'll rock with you, Dylan. I'll go NC State.
All right. This next one's a pretty big game. Doesn't seem like a big game. I think it's a lot bigger than what it's being made out to be. But we got Iowa and Ohio State.
Isn't that at Iowa too?
No,
It's at Ohio State.
Ohio State's favored by 17.5. But
Don't
we're
shoot
going to
the
get to see what their offense does against a big-time defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ohio State wins this one pretty convincingly. I mean, Iowa still is struggling at the quarterback position with McNamara, and so I feel like Ohio State's starting to figure out a little bit what they're trying to do for offense.
I'll go with Ohio State.
Yeah, that one's just going to be a clean sweep. I think Ohio State's just, they're too talented.
Clean sweep.
I think Iowa could, yeah. I think Iowa could be a team that just kind of keeps it a little close, but I think at the end of the day, Ohio State's going to pull out with the W. Next game for us, Auburn, Georgia. Obviously, Georgia's coming off that loss to Alabama. I'm going to start us off with this one. I think Georgia's going to come in playing with a little anger. They're going to put on a statement against it's a big rivalry game for them, but I think they're going to put a statement win up there, and I don't think this one's going to be pretty. Georgia's favored by 21. I think they could. I think they'll cover. I think they'll win by more than 21. To be honest with you boys.
Yeah, I'm backing you up on that one. I think Georgia's going to win this one pretty convincingly. I know Kirby Smart is going to light the fire under those guys, especially after a big loss against Alabama. Auburn blew a game late against Oklahoma. I think that kind of sucked the wind out of their sails. So I think Georgia's going to win this one pretty easily.
I mean, clean sweep. I mean, I'm going with Georgia. I mean, that's
Well, I
not
was
even
gonna
a
be
question.
worried for a second. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
about to
No, I'm going Auburn. No,
All right.
I'm going Georgia.
Next game, Ole Miss goes to South Carolina. Ole Miss is favored by 10. Who do y'all like? Number 12 Ole Miss after they just lost to Kentucky.
I'm going to go Gamecocks here. I think Lane Kiffin might be able to cook something up, but it's at South Carolina. That place is a hostile environment. We know from experience being Tennessee fans. So I just think they're gonna get the crowd pumping, and knowing that okay, Kentucky can beat them, we can beat them. So I think they'll get Sandman rocking, and South Carolina's gonna come out there with a win.
Give me Ole Miss.
Well, every single time that I think there's gonna be a game that I'm gonna be the lone wolf in, Jacob, you keep surprising me. I'm gonna go with Jacob on South Carolina. I keep waiting. I'm going last, waiting to drop that bomb. That's like, oh no, give me the underdog. But Jacob, you keep riding with me, so I'm going with South Carolina in this one. All right. Next up, we have number 23 Indiana going to Northwestern. I'm gonna take Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, Northwestern still has no offense. Indiana's actually looked really good. And they actually have a sport other than basketball.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me the Hoosiers in this one.
Let's go 3 for 3, Indiana.
Okay.
Like, it's not even close.
Next, this is a big game too. Neither team's ranked, but in my opinion, it's a massive game. We got Rutgers and Nebraska. Rutgers going to Nebraska, undefeated Rutgers, 4-1 Nebraska. Nebraska's favored by 7. It's a big game. I'm excited. I'm gonna watch this one.
All right, then start us off, Dylan. Who are you picking?
One of my close friends from college, he's a big Nebraska fan. They have they have a good defense. Dylan Raiola, they finally have a good quarterback. Disappointing. I thought they'd still be undefeated at this point. I think Rutgers is having a dream season for their mark. They're 4-0 right now. If they win today, I I'm already impressed with how Rutgers is doing this year. If they win today, then I may be thinking twice about Rutgers. But I'm still gonna roll with Nebraska in this one at home. But I Rutgers is they're making a fan out of me this year. Obviously not like a favorite team fan, but I'm pulling for
Let's say you
Rutgers
switching up
this
on us over here.
one. No, never.
Give me the Cornhuskers. Rutgers, if you go back and look at all the other years, they tend to start 4-0, 5-0, and then they just drop off the face of the earth. Give me the Cornhuskers. I think they'll get that ball rolling.
Let's just rock with Nebraska all the way through. Let's just,
I
I
do
like
agree
what
with you,
Nebraska's
Jacob.
doing because.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
I do agree with you, Jacob, that they normally start off good, but they have two pretty big. I mean, they Washington new to the Big Ten. They beat Washington. Um, they beat Virginia Tech. Um, I just had it and I lost it. Yeah, they beat Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech, which Virginia Tech's not as good this year as what a lot of people thought originally, but I don't know. I'm curious. I think this could go down to the end here. I don't think Nebraska's going to run away with it by any means. Rutgers is going to make them work. Um,
Just
I
one
like
second. I had a fan ask a question. Is a shower beer acceptable?
110%.
especially on a college day, I feel like it's expected.
On college day, it is a must-have. Like you cannot go wrong with one of those.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna have to do yard work in a little bit, and think a lawnmower beer and a shower beer right
You need
after.
to, Dylan. For your birthday, I'm gonna get you one of those hats that you can put the beer in both sides, and then it has the straw. And yeah,
Okay. Well,
yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna
um,
get you.
Jacob, let's keep that on record. Let's see if I get a birthday present this year. I don't think I've gotten a birthday present from this man in years, so we'll see if he.
Well, being long distance is kind of hard, Dylan.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I see how it is. All right, next
Let the
game.
record show. Before we move on, let the record show I haven't gotten one either. So
I plead
yeah,
the fifth.
yeah.
All right, our next game we got Michigan going into Washington, and we've talked about it. Michigan's offense, or lack thereof, hasn't really been there. They go to Washington. Washington's not having the best year like what we've seen from Washington the past few seasons. What do y'all think?
I think Michigan here. I think the defense overpowers Washington's offense, and they're going to keep controlling the ground game here.
Dylan, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with Washington. This was a game I was gonna wait until the end and just drop a bomb on y'all. I'm curious to see what Tyler does.
Well, I was gonna go Washington.
Okay.
I just don't think that.
I'm
I
liking the
mean,
variety we're getting today.
yeah, I don't. I'm not. I think Michigan is a team that is. If they don't show up, that we're gonna look up and it's gonna be halftime and they're gonna be down by several scores. So
All right. We only have a few more games left to pick. Our next game is Oklahoma State and West Virginia at Oklahoma State. Both of these teams are teams that I was expecting better years from, and neither one of them's really delivered in that area. So, but who do y'all like?
Give me the Cowboys.
Oklahoma State.
I think West Virginia they're struggling. They play really really good for 3 quarters, and then as soon as that fourth quarter hits, they just fall apart. So give me Oklahoma State.
Tyler?
give me Oklahoma State and follow JP on that one.
All right, this is my bomb that I've been waiting on. I'm actually gonna rock with West Virginia. I think we're gonna see a complete West Virginia team today. They're gonna go into Oklahoma State and they're gonna come out with a win. I have a feeling. Don't ask me why. I just have a feeling. Maybe it's Pat McAfee vibes going for me. I don't know. We're doing podcasts now. I, I just have a feeling. We're going. I'm rolling with West Virginia, baby. All right. Um, 2 games left. Actually 3. I'm gonna add in another game. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Our next game, Baylor, Iowa State. Um, I'm gonna go with Iowa State. I think this one may be a game that we can just quickly go through. I think, unless y'all surprise me and roll with Baylor.
No, I'm gonna go with Iowa State here. I think it's gonna be a close one though.
Okay.
Where are they at?
They're at
They're
Iowa
at
State.
Iowa State, number 16, or yeah, number 16, Iowa State, favored by 11. Baylor's 2-3. I think it's a pretty simple one, but we'll see if Tyler chooses.
I'm gonna go with Iowa State. I was thinking about just dropping an absolute bombshell on you guys, but I gotta think of my picks, and
Baylor's
I can't be last in both. So
ever
we're gonna
since
rock with Iowa
yeah,
State.
ever since Matt Rule left to go to Nebraska, Baylor just hasn't quite been the same. But that happens when you lose a good head coach. All right, I'm gonna add. We weren't gonna originally do this one, but I'm gonna add Miami and California. I just want to talk about Miami, number 8. They're obviously undefeated. Got Cam Ward at quarterback. I don't think Cal's gonna make it easy on them. It's at Cal. Who do y'all think in this game?
Give me Cam Ward and Miami Hurricanes here. I think after a very scary almost loss last week, I think Miami's offense is going to fix those tweaks and they're going to go in there and have a game plan and be sharp.
Tyler?
Give me Cal. I'm not.
From left field, baby.
I am
He's
not a
feeling
fan.
his picks today.
I am not feeling Cam Ward and Miami going into Cal and winning.
Okay. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be closer than Miami fans would like to believe, but I do think Miami's going to come out on top.
Okay.
All right.
I'll be a lone wolf on that one.
Yeah, hey, we'll see how
That
it
game's
works out
not
for you.
until what 9:30
9:30.
tonight. So you know
I'll be
we won't know
asleep
till tomorrow.
during
So
it probably, so that'll be on y'all to let me know how it goes. I can just check the score after. Um, Game of the day for us. Obviously, we're all repping our orange. Um, Big fans of the Volunteers. Got old Smoky on the coffee mug. Tennessee, Arkansas. Boys, what are we thinking? Tennessee's 13.5 point favorites going into Arkansas. Arkansas's 3-2. Tell me what you think about the game. We're gonna dive just a little bit deeper into this one because they are our boys. So
I think Tennessee wins this. I don't think they cover the 13.5 point spread. And the only reason why I say this is because you're coming off a big win for Josh Heupel last week or 2 weeks ago against Oklahoma. They've had a week and a half to kind of sit in that excitement, getting prepared for Arkansas. So I would love to see them get back on that ball.
yeah,
I think the only reason why I say it's going to be closer is because it's been 2 weeks. You've allowed that, I guess, ego build up saying, okay, we're the top dog now. So I would love to see the team just kind of settle down and just play the game that they've been playing the first 4 games. And so I think that's kind of going to be the big test. Are they going to beat themselves, or are they going to go out there and play current Tennessee football and win the game?
Tyler.
I feel like Tennessee's gonna just. I feel like they're gonna come out and not necessarily be sluggish, but they're gonna play good. I feel like Arkansas is doing their version of the checkered. Did y'all see that? They're gonna
Yep.
red and white stripe the stadium, which I don't know. I feel like they're gonna come off of the big win, like JP said, and I feel like they're just gonna add to it. I like.
Well, Arkansas, I think they're one of those teams too. They're not gonna make it easy on Tennessee. Um, I agree. It's probably not gonna be as lopsided as what a lot of us want it to be. I think Arkansas is gonna Um, they're going to surprise us a little bit. I still think Tennessee's going to come out on top. Arkansas, their two losses are both to ranked teams. They lost to A&M last week in a close 21-17 game, and then they lost to Oklahoma State, their second game of the year, 39-31, in double overtime also. Um, so they they're not bad. They're not a bad football team. Um, that being said, Tennessee's last national championship game or national championship win, they won a pretty big close game against Arkansas that honestly should have lost. Maybe that happens. Maybe lightning strikes twice, and this is a game that we look back on later on in the year and like, hey, this game mattered. So I don't think it matters how much they win by today. They just got to come out with a win. But I would love to see Nico come out here and light up the stat sheet, put on a show. I think if we score how Tennessee normally scores, Arkansas can't keep up with that. But if Arkansas's defense can limit us, then it'll get scary. But we'll see. I'm going with Tennessee as well. But that wraps up our picks.
We need Dylan Sampson to have a good day too.
Yeah, no, for sure. But these games got underway about 10 minutes ago. Any day there's football on all day is a good day. So, boys, I hope y'all have a good game or a good day. If you play any games, have a good game. I guess. I don't know where my head's at, but as always, it's been a pleasure. I can't wait to see what our picks look like. And yeah, do y'all have any final thoughts?
No,
Go Vols.
go Vols. Yeah,
Go
that's pretty
Vols.
straightforward to me.
Alright.
What time is that game?
6:30.
6:30. So, well, boys, y'all have a good rest of the day. We'll be talking all throughout the day. If you're if you're tuning in watching, please like and subscribe. It helps us out. Um, helps us get more people to tune in. It just really go a long way. We love doing this. We just want to share our passion for sports with as many people as possible and as many people as will listen. So if you do listen, thank you, and hope y'all have a good day.
See y'all.
Peace.